I think it's
That's
actually
just
recording in progress.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right, choose one of the following: physical science, life science, earth, space science, or engineering. Using the lesson plan template, which we're not going to use because we're discussing it. Design a science lesson for the age group you currently teach.
I can go first. I have it open. So for the science to me is inquiry, like scientific inquiry, children being curious. And if I have to think about connecting science to engineering, the first thought came to my mind is in building bridges. That's my favorite thing to do with them when we talk about engineering. So I was thinking, what could I do that will? So I'm going to touch on both the questions, like how can you connect science and literacy and math, everything. So this activity has science, engineering, and has literacy and everything in it. So this is a book, 21 Elephants and Still Standing. So I would read a story to my students about how it was somebody was saying that Brooklyn Bridge is not strong enough. And then one person, Greatest Showman, he brought all the 21 elephants on the bridge, and the bridge didn't fall. And then I would give students that, can you build a bridge that can hold 21 elephants on it? And I would give them manipulatives like popsicle sticks, miniature cups, miniature animals, toilet paper rolls, or cut bounty rolls. And then children will have to figure out how to build bridges that the animals could cross. So it has everything, like science, they'll be curious, engineering, because they have to figure out how could they make bridges with popsicle sticks or the miniature cups. And then how literacy is reading story, talking about it. And math is, while they put the elephants on the bridge, they can count it. So literally everything in one activity. That would be my lesson.
So for my lesson, we always do this. We do like the sink or float activity. And the kids love it, and they just do like different stuff that we put in the water, and they see if it can sink or if it can float. And then the kids are like guessing using like even like math skills, because we're like measuring objects, we're writing it down, we're documenting, seeing like what can actually float and then how much something weighs. And then another activity that I did before, and this is like a STEM activity, was I had water balloons. I wrote about this too in one of my lessons. It was like an ice water balloon, an air water balloon, and then a water balloon to show like the kids the difference between gas, liquid, and water. And that was for physical science. And like the kids love that too, because it's also incorporating like math and literature, because you're talking about it. What does it feel like? Same thing, like you're measuring it and then you're seeing if it can bounce, float. So just a lot of like hands-on activities.
So mine was we were working on a study about insects. So it would be the life cycle of a butterfly. So the activity would be them putting the pictures in sequential order from we got the egg, then the caterpillar, then the chrysalis, and the butterfly. So that's with the words, you're teaching them about the words with chrysalis, and saying the butterfly's going through metamorphosis, and larva and pupa. And then for the math, of course, it's putting the things in order.
My experiment, we're actually doing it this week in my summer camp. My theme this week is bubbles. So we're doing a lot about bubbles. And when I first thought like, oh, bubbles sounds lame to teach, I was wrong. It's actually super fun. So when I think of science, I think of like hypothesis and all of that, and like the scientific like steps on to take on how to like do experiments and stuff, and like all of that. So right now, every single day, we're doing a different experiment with bubbles. So we did like normal bubble solution yesterday, and then today we did like a bubble solution, but it had a little bit of sugar. So we're having the kids, they have bubble journals, and they're documenting what their bubbles look like. base off with that extra ingredient that we add. So like so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're gonna have a different like type. I think tomorrow we're doing our own like bubble mixture. We're gonna see how that compares to the other two. So I think that'll be super fun and the kids really enjoy it.
So in my class, we have been on gardening, and one activity that we did was like the plant cycle. So kind of similar to like the butterfly, life of a butterfly. We did like plant needs. What does a plant need to grow, and what does it need to sustain itself? So that is what we did. We use like watercolors and paints and stuff like that, like diagram worksheets. They practice handwriting skills like tracing, cutting, gluing, things like that. So fine motor skills. And that was our science lesson.
Our science to do, but we just use like, and then we watered, and in the window, since one of our walls is only a window, it gets the sunlight that it needs. And every day we're having the kids mist it with a little mister. And it's kind of showing and representing the first few steps of the plant life. And next up, we're going to be planting it into soil. I think that science is a lot of enrichment needed at all ages. And kind of like what Marissa said, like it doesn't just need to be strictly science-y. You can make different activities and different STEM activities really fun. Thank you.
Okay. All right, one of my favorite ones that we do quite often, we actually base it off of the book, The Three Little Pigs, An Architectural Tale. So it includes a lot of science altogether, but it really focuses on engineering. So once you read the book, it's a little bit different than the typical story of the Three Little Pigs. In this story, they use different materials like scraps, glass, and other things to build their houses. So we have a table set up with all kinds of different materials, toothpicks, tape, marshmallows, Play-Doh, all kinds of stuff that the kids can use to be able to build their houses, to see if they can withstand trying to blow it over. But the other thing that we do is we go on a walk around the block and we look for areas where we think that we could build something. We look at the road signs as we go around just to kind of pay attention to our surroundings. You could also throw in literacy, not only by reading the story to the children, but also after going on your walk, you could have the children journal and talk about the things that they saw while they were on their walk. With this, I think you can connect science, literacy, math. Don't really think you can add technology in unless a child wanted to look up something specific in the way something looked to maybe get an idea. But other than that, I think that it kind of touches base on all of the areas of science, depending on how you decide to plan it out and follow through with it.